You want to get the clap?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Ready? One. Wait.
What? Beep. Beep. All right. One, two, three. Look at that. We did it.
Let's try it one more time.
We were exactly on time on my camera. On my end, we were exactly on time. So
that makes sense. So let's just try to see if we can do it.
What's that supposed to mean? How dare you? How dare you? Why is my clap less cool than your clap? Huh? You tell me. All right, fine. One more time. We'll do one more clap. On your mark.
All right. On your mark. Get set. Go. Good enough.
Just saying, I felt like my clap was better. Just overall.
Yours was better overall.
Experience.
I have to agree with you.
I did sabotage you. Yeah. That's how we started. Dude.
Let's go get it started.
We back, baby.
We back, baby. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. It's good to be back.
Yeah, you're getting some new digs. You're in some
Thank
new
you.
digs.
Yeah, I do got some
I'm in
new
some
gigs.
new digs. Yeah. Lots
Holy
happening.
poop. Lots going on.
Right? My braces are off. People out in the universe. Look at that.
Ooh, them pearlies.
Them pearly whites.
Pearly whites.
Boom.
Pearly whites.
Feeling good. I'm smiling all the time.
Pearly whites. Pearly whites.
Which is also kind of funny though, because I got them off and I was like, I'm so excited. I got them off, and then I'm like, 75% of the time, other people are looking at me is when I have a mask on anyway. So, really good investment on my part. So,
good timing. Yeah.
Really good timing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm smiling internally. I did it for myself, so it's a good lesson to do that for myself. But dude, what's been going on? I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's been, how long since we recorded the last podcast?
Probably since like July, I think.
Yeah, sometime during the summer. And a lot has happened. So for everybody out in the podcast universe, welcome to, I guess, season 2 of the Learning to Code podcast. And
welcome on, guys.
How freaking cool is that?
And all the folks in between.
We just kind of wanted to take this time on the second season to just, have you get like an in-depth look at just Nick and I and our weird, crazy, awesome relationship and our vibe. So, and also like catch up with what's been happening. I mean, here we are, we're in a new year. We have a new president. We're in different states. A lot's happened. And
a lot has gone on.
It's time to get back to it. It's time to get back to it.
Transpirations have been many.
Yeah. Also, what we're also going to do, I'm going to break in this new podcast with you. I'm going to open this beer up.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
This unnamed beer. This is
a fat tire. I had to do it, but it's fine. It's fine. They know.
Please don't sue us, Fat Tire. We will happily have you sponsor us too, if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, the cockroaches in the beer is what actually makes them feel like so.
This isn't help. This isn't help. Oh my gosh. Ignore my friend, Fat Tire. And
no, I've been to the factory.
Right,
it's in a troll's cave, and he's really nice. He's very lovely. He just mixes in, and this is his secret. He just mixes in all the pests that live under his armpit, and they like it. They know they were born there, raised there. It's warm. It's nice, and you really feel that they were happy in their life when you drink them later on after they've been bottled.
Huh? I think I'm going to put this beer down over here. Leave that for a minute.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I've already opened mine, and
well, cheers, buddy.
Cheers to you, man.
Yeah. So, all right, Nick. Let's start with you, bud. What's been going on with you? What has happened since last we met? Since last we met our heroes, what's been going on?
Yeah, dude. Lots of stuff. Since last we met our heroes, I was living in New York. So that's different. Yeah, I'm over in the Portland area now. Yeah, I'll just see if I can try to do a quick summary of life events that has occurred.
Give it to us.
And try to keep it under a couple hours. So yeah, we left New York, flew out here. We stayed at an Airbnb with Brittany and Devin, and did that. I got a work from home job, so I was doing that. We got to kind of walk around. It was a nice, like, walkable neighborhood the Airbnb was in, so got to walk around, which is different because in Brooklyn, like, it wasn't a good idea to walk around in the neighborhood because COVID was like, it was just awful. Like, it was like really awful. So
yeah, I feel like you just couldn't be anywhere in New York City.
No, you couldn't. It was a pretty scary spot, especially while we were there. And like taking walks was just, you got to be like really careful if you were going to take a walk, and it would take a lot out of you when you did. And it just wasn't exactly conducive to, leaving your abode at all. And our abode, although it was really great before the pandemic, because we were living in New York, and in New York, if you're doing it right, at least in my opinion, your home really is just a bed, and you're living in the city. You're spending your time in the city, and you come home and, you turn on a TV show, go to sleep, and wake up, and you're like getting ready to go back out in the city. And that's like the way we were living. It was fantastic. Like, I really miss a lot of the aspects of New York. But all those things that I liked went away. Like, none of them exist right now. None of them existed when we were leaving. I'm sure that it will bounce back. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, New York is dead forever. Like, that city is magic. It has magic woven into the concrete, man. Like, it is, it's a really special place. Brooklyn has got my heart. Like, I miss it, and I'm excited to see it bounce back. I hope it does so ASAP, But anyway, we had to make the decision, and we came out here to Portland. We were able to like walk around. I took like little walks on my lunch break, and all I had to do was walk outside and go walk around the neighborhood. Like, so it was really good for my headspace and my heart. And then we moved in with the parents for a few months. We started our, Bree and I decided we wanted to purchase a home. So, yeah, big moves. But
nothing major, just buy a house.
And so, we started that search, and it took about 3 months for us to secure a house. We put down 10 or so offers on different homes. As anyone who's searching for housing right now, at least I know the market here in Portland hasn't let up. I have a few friends actually who are trying to buy homes here, and they're having the same exact experience as us. They're going in on houses, and they just had their realtor tell them they need to start going in $100,000 over asking price, or they're not going to be competitive.
What?
Which is insane, right? It's insane. And we thought it was insane. That's actually worse than what we were experiencing.
$100,000 over asking price.
Right. So in a normal, like, flat market, if you give someone the asking price, like, they're usually going to take it. Like,
right.
And on average, you might have 2 or 3 people bidding for a home, and that's a hot house. Here right now, we had some homes where there was actually over 10 bidders at a time. We had homes where people were going that 100,000 or more over, and just simply like truly outbidding everybody. And there's just a lot of influx of people who want to be in a nice neighborhood and want to like settle down, that were living in the city, who, have literally the same exact idea as we did, which was like, okay, well, the place I'm living now doesn't support the kind of lifestyle anymore due to COVID. And I see it probably won't be bouncing back anytime soon. Not that it never will, right? But things are a lot different. LA, for example, and New York, many of the buyers who outbid us actually were from LA. So they were Californian transplants. They weren't even there. They were just having an agent search for, they're like, hey, find me a beautiful home in a nice neighborhood, like empty check, blank check, get me a house,
Totally.
And so you're competing with a lot of that. And I'm sure that hasn't stopped either. I think a lot of people are actually, maybe even more than before, it seems, are catching on that they want to be homeowners as well. And I'm really happy that we are now. I love this house. This is like it's big enough. I have my own space. This is actually like kind of like designated as like Nick's art space. So like I've got my, my guitar and my amp. I've got like a video game setup back there for, so it's like this is like, you double this, and that was our New York apartment. And now it's just dedicated man cave. I love it. So yeah, it feels really great. The neighborhood we're in now is just as nice or nicer than the one we were staying at the Airbnb at. So I can take walks all the time and clear my head. There's great restaurants around. So overall, super stoked about that. It feels really nice, and now I kind of have a space to do my art and do the stuff I want to do this podcast. I kind of got lost. So we ended up, let me rewind here.
Please.
We moved in with the parents and started the house search. While we were doing that, the wildfires came.
Oh, right.
And we actually had to evacuate our neighborhood that we were with our parents with. And, we made lemonade out of lemons. So we went to the beach, which was like really great, but that's just
no trees at the beach, I guess. So
yeah, exactly. You can't get me in the ocean fire. So yeah, that was crazy. I know there's lots of folks listening who have, probably been affected by the fires out here on the West Coast. It's really scary, especially when your house, we were lucky. Thank God. We weren't truly affected. We just were afraid that we were going to be. Yeah. Oh man, I have left out that I was actually producing. So the fires stopped a show I was producing too.
Yeah, you were producing a show during that time.
Yeah. And we'll have Spencer Funk on soon. Is a little tidbit, but to talk about that. But Spencer and I were producing some kind of like children's theater, and we were going to do it at a few wineries out in the Rogue Valley, which was wonderful. We were producing that with Jackie, Fez, and JR, and so that was kind of heartbreaking because everyone who had worked on that project poured their heart and soul into it, and it got canceled because that town was also evacuated, and that town was the hardest hit in Oregon. I mean, they had the fires actually destroy a lot of homes out there, so we had to put a pause on that. We're going to put that up again for sure, but probably in a time where, at least one horseman of the apocalypse goes to take a nap. You can't fight a plague and a fire at the same time. So, and it was going to be like that pandemic friendly theater with, we were going to do it kind of like haunted house style where, people show up and we have basically 6 different stages throughout, and, only groups of 5 to 15 who are all socially distanced come through and see this part of the story and then walk away, and then the next group enters, right? And then you have eventually you have 6 groups at a time walking through, but everyone's socially distant. So
in a circuit like that.
Yeah. We were really excited to kind of beat the pandemic and still do theater in a way that was going to be safe. And but you know what? I still feel great about the show. I still feel great about everything. So we're still going to be putting that up and doing it.
Yeah. Dude, and it also, I think that you touched on a really important note, which is there are so many factors that go into making art, and just the factors that you're able to deal with get so crazy. But then the factors that you can't deal with that just come out of left field and smack you in the face. And then it's oh, we need to not do it right now. That can be for a lot of people. And I've been in this boat too, where it's been devastating, and you're I was really expecting to get this done. I was excited to do this. I remember being a part of a project once where we were going to tour to another theater, and then right as we were about to go up, we were told that half of our run got cut, right? And you're oh man, that can be so devastating. But I think what you touch on, which is an important thing, which is that you were saying, I'm excited to do it again. I believe in the show. And it goes along with that kind of Paulo Coelho quote, which is, you fall down. Life is about falling down 7 times, getting up 8 times. Right. And it's if the art is part of you, if there's something that's there that is a part of the community that you want to develop and everybody's down for it, and you feel like you can make a good impact on the community, just because something throws a big obstacle in your way just now doesn't mean that you can't do it in the future. It doesn't mean that you can find a way around it. There's always ways to achieve the action. It's just a matter of what you got to give up in the meantime to achieve that action, right? I think that's an important thing for you to touch on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's just, you just got to keep rolling with the punches. Like, I think that's what 2020 has taught everyone, you know, like, you have to keep going. Like, you have to keep working, and you have to keep like trying, and you have to like, and you have to be willing to get knocked down. Like, sometimes, like, you can't stop it. Like, I couldn't have gone and like beaten the fire, like with my, like, you know, like there was nothing that was going to happen. Like, sometimes you really need to like be able to accept like a temporary defeat, you know, like, you know, there's this like, you know, and then it's all about how you take that, right? It's exactly what you're saying. It's like how you get up, how you take that punch. Like, you know, how are you gonna adapt, and sometimes the best way to adapt is to let it be for a minute and
retreat,
and, you know,
regroup.
Let's retreat. Let's wait until the soil is like ready for me to plant these seeds again. Yeah. So that happened. Yeah, but I'm really excited. Tales of the Direwood is like such a special piece, and it was a really yeah, and like such a cool collaborative process. This, again, the summary is going to take forever. It's so much has happened, but we'll get off the summary. We'll talk about it a little bit, and I won't go too in depth because Spencer and I probably would want to talk about it. Yeah, but being able to collaborate with those artists in that way was a whole new thing, you know. For sure. And it really helped me kind of believe in my own like and Spencer's vision of being able to like imagine something and bring it to life through, you know, just kind of through willpower and wanting to make it happen and learning. So, but we'll go into that more. Back to the summary. So with that got just deleted by the fires temporarily. We saved the files, but yeah. And then, yeah, we started, you know, the house hunting project basically. And that was like, you know, Bree and I work at the same hours every day, New York hours. So about 2 or 3 p.m. every day, we'd just hop in the car and then go look at homes for like 2 or 3 hours. And then when we were in the heat of it, we were putting like 1 or 2 offers down on a home per week. So we were like going out and doing that. And also like when you're house hunting, one of the things you need to do a good job is imagine yourself in the home, like, and kind of emotionally, you have to emotionally be available and connect to the home. So when you do that and you've like decided, okay, that feels good, it does hit a little harder when it doesn't come through, you know? Totally. So there was definitely a few nights where I like was crying or a few nights where Bree was crying just cause like you can't do anything. Like, you know,
relationships are hard, man. You know, you think they're going to work out sometimes, and then you think you develop a bond, and you're like, man, I could see myself being with you.
Yeah.
Living inside you.
Yeah.
And
then they drop you. Absolute player of a house picks another person.
Like a mean-spirited person. Like, how dare you, house? What did I do? I just gave you love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
So, yeah. But hey, you know what? This house makes me thank God that all the other houses said no, because
it works out.
It works out. You're going to end up where you need to be. So, yeah. And now we've just been here setting this up, building furniture, getting everything set. We found out the owners planted a lot of flowers that we didn't know about that are just popping up right now. So I'm really excited. We have a bunch of like tulips in the front yard. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. They did such a good job and left it in fantastic shape. And they even left like little surprises for us to find. Like the people that were here are like magical fairies that like,
seriously, God bless.
Yeah, God bless. It's fantastic. So.
That's fantastic. Wow.
And now I'm here doing this thing, getting the podcast going, making more music, enjoying life, not worried about where I'm going to be living. It's a feeling I haven't felt since like July. So it's really nice. All right. Well, that's me currently. Warren,
Boom.
How about you? Since we last met our hero, where have you been? What's been going on?
Wow, what a great, excellent question, Nick. And I really appreciate the wind up to that. Yeah, so it's been a crazy time for me as well. Moved over to Atlanta. So when we last met I was, back in Idaho, still living in a trailer, right? Doing the podcast out of a trailer. I was wearing braces. I was just working wherever I could to get an extra buck or two just to be able to save up enough money to make this move, and around September, I think it was September, I moved. I drove across country and got to Atlanta, and that was quite an interesting time. Actually, I really enjoyed it. It was, I think one of my favorite moments of it was when I was getting out of Idaho. I was driving out of Idaho, and as I was driving out of Idaho, I was entering Wyoming, and I was just getting really overwhelmed with, all the memories that I had. Cause it's interesting when you go back to your hometown when you're an adult, right? Cause I was in my hometown. I grew up in my hometown all my life. And then I left for college in Seattle. And then I was in Seattle for all the time. And then I, traveled around. Then I finally landed back over here to Idaho. And, it's just it's all the same, but everybody else is different. And everyone else has grown and lived their lives and achieved different things. And then I was able to connect with those people and see them and be like, oh my gosh, like let's, you develop bonds. And this is also before COVID. So you're able to like really have like large gatherings, and it was all that was kind of coming up and bubbling to the surface of like, wow, these beautiful relationships I got to deepen. And like some of them I knew in high school, and we kind of hung out in high school. We didn't really talk. But then now we're like really deep friends. And like I'll be able to go to celebrations and weddings with them later in the future, whatever. And that's a beautiful thing.
It's lovely.
And that was really bubbling up to the surface. I was like, whoa, like I'm leaving a lot of that behind right now to go and achieve this thing. And I'm crying, I'm sobbing. And I'm just like, I look in the rearview mirror and I'm like, man, I wonder if I'm ever going to miss Idaho. And I just start laughing and being like, oh, fuck no. I rolled down the window and I just flipped off the road behind me. I was like, bye, Idaho. I love the people there and I love a lot of the quaintness of it. But the feel of it was not my home. It was not my home. And then driving across country, it was so cool to check out all these different areas of the states that I'd never been to before. Honestly, the South was so cool to drive through.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, man. I was really amazed by all of that. And, I was just like one of the craziest places to check out was Louisiana. And driving through Louisiana, going through Baton Rouge and stuff, I was actually, you remember Daniel Sarfati?
I love Daniel Sarfati, yeah.
Yeah, dude, we road trip together at that one. We were road trip buddies. He met me up in Texas, and then we rode down to New Orleans together. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, I know. That guy is crazy. Like I love that we were able to, meet up in just random locations. That's kind of our thing. We got to just meet up in random places throughout our lives all across the world. That's my hope. So shout out to him. But yeah, we drove together. We convoyed over to New Orleans, and just like seeing all this, like, miles of land bridges, right? Like these, well, not land bridges, but like bridges across the swamp water.
Right.
And you're just seeing all these trees and just endless swamp and gators in the water and stuff. And I'm driving for miles. I'm like, what? I'm like looking down. What? It's amazing. I'm trying to drive.
Swamps are incredible.
Yeah, it was truly cool. And then I arrived here in Atlanta, and honestly, as soon as I drove up, there's all this greenery and these trees. I I didn't realize how many trees there were going to be here in Atlanta. It looks a little bit grosser now because it's the winter time, but we're coming back into the spring and summer where, you're just seeing all this greenery. And I was just like, this is so cool. Like, and I just felt the energy. First off, I felt the energy through the speed limit. Everybody, like, it's 55. Everybody goes at least 15 miles over the speed limit in Atlanta. Like, I've never been in a place where it's just straight up 15 miles over the speed limit. Like, I was like, oh, we're all doing this? Okay. I'm literally holding up traffic by doing the speed limit. And so
What were
I
you
was
thinking?
like, what was that?
Obeying the law.
Yeah, I know. And then I was like, okay, well, now I got to break the law. You know what I mean? I'm what? Come on, I'm trying to live here. I'm trying to be a member here. You know,
Dude,
what I
if
mean?
you drive the limit,
like,
they're gonna
here.
pull you over, right? Like, what are you hiding? Why don't you want us to pull you over?
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, that was it was cool to be there. And since then, it was so crazy, man. I arrived. I had got an Airbnb for a month, right?
Yep.
And that was nice because I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have a home lined up, a place to live. But I was there for a month, and I was like, okay, put my head together, collectively think about things and find it, and you got to make those things happen, or else I got to drive back. So it was I took the first week to just relax and explore the city and stuff, but then it became to be like, okay, I need to get stuff going, I need to get things moving. And the second week there, I got a message from this guy, Nick Coates, and he and I talked way back in the summertime, when I was working as a server in this restaurant, and doing the outdoor patio thing, right, for COVID and stuff. And like I talked with him and his wife and their friends, and we're all hanging out at the table and we're laughing and having a good time. And he's just like, oh man, I have this company, you should be a writer for this company. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm a writer and all that stuff, yada, yada. And they're like, oh, great. Well, put down your contact information and we'll make that happen. I'm like, oh, awesome. This is 2 months before I was, 2 months prior. And I messaged them and stuff like that. I was waiting. I was trying to be as available as I could. Didn't hear anything, right? Week goes by, 2 weeks go by. I'm like, all right, that wasn't a thing. That's fine. It's still wonderful to talk to them. I was just like, all right, cool. Let's move on to the next thing. And
Exactly.
2 months later, I'm 2 weeks into my time here in Atlanta, and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I applied to some producer's assistant jobs at some film studios, and of course, COVID and everything, they're not going to let in some new guy, which makes sense in retrospect. But I was just kind of like, okay, well, it looks like I'm going to have to get like a Grubhub job or some kind of Lyft service. So I'm going to have to do something. And then I get a text from Nick, and he's just like, hey, sorry, we lost your contact info. And I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, we just found it. So you want that job? And I was like, fantastic. And I accepted, and it's been great ever since. I mean, they're a really good company, and I'm doing copywriting now, which is something I've never thought I would be doing in my life. I mean, like I love writing. I journal, and I've been writing plays. I haven't finished a play yet, just like to what you were like, nothing to the level of Nick Vogel, but like I've always aspired to do those things and get up to it. And this has given me the ability to constantly focus on words, as well as like with acting and stuff too. And that's one of the coolest things. I've learned such a great appreciation for words and art, and how the English language itself can like be constructed together to create, make people feel different ways, So it's been an interesting ride with that. And so since then I, found an apartment and am getting back into the swing of things with the acting world around here. I still my goal is to be acting, writing, and producing here in Atlanta. And I think that I'm on the right track to be doing that. And I've met some amazing people so far along the way too. And it's just, it's been a really crazy time, and also kind of serendipitous too. It feels like things are falling into place, and I can't be more grateful. It's truly a gift to be able to do that. So I'm just trying to be like, okay, don't squander this gift. You've got to really move for things, So that's it. And I'm trying to maybe look for a house myself. So it's like good hearing your kind of voices there, kind of hearing your advice of doing that. But yeah, that's been me. That's been my whole like last half a year, right? And it's been a crazy ride.
Dude,
Truly.
rock on. That's a great ride to be on. Like, yeah.
So,
Dude, and man, I know I tell you this off the air all the time. I'm so proud of you. It's so amazing to see all that come together. And
yeah, I'm proud of you too. So
thanks, dude.
it's, and it's one of those things because I think about sometimes just, I think about time a lot, and I was having a conversation the other day with a dear friend of mine, and they're kind of going through a rough time right now where they are at artistically and life and things, and especially during this time, so many people are going through really rough times, not putting things on hold. Things are going the way that they want it to, and I remember when those kind of things were happening to me in different ways, of course, but like I've had those same feelings at least of it's hopeless, it's devastating. I'll never be able to get up from this. I'll never be able to come back from this. I'll never, all those things that you kind of tell yourself in your head. Right. And it was just like, I was just thinking back on that time. And now I'm at this moment here where it's like, it just takes the right moment. The moment is coming. As long as you are pursuing that thing that's in your heart, that is what you're driving to do with this art thing, with this creative thing. Maybe it's not even art, but maybe you just want to do something to help the world. If that's deep within you, then that's the universe telling you that you need to go do that thing, and keep that fire alive, and like just keep on going with that journey and that goal. And it's not going to go the way that you think it's going to go, nor should it, because you're not as creative as the universe, I guess. And no matter how creative you are, you might be freaking Shakespeare, but it's the universe and God or whatever we choose to believe that's like got so many more infinite variables that is being put together either randomly or systematically to make things go. And so it's just it was cool to talk with them about that in that situation, because where I'm at now versus where they're at now in this moment, it's like, well, your moment's going to come. It is going to come. You just got to hold out for it. It's that opportunity and preparation coming together, right? And I know that there's going to be moments for me where everything's going to fall apart again. There's going to be moments for me where I'm going to feel devastation again. There's something that's probably going to happen in the next, hopefully, however long years of my life, hopefully like 80 plus or something like that. That'd be great. Yeah. But yeah, there's got to be more heartbreak. There's got to be more sadness. There's got to be more turmoil. This, because that's the human experience. And as artists, we need to experience those things. Just because that's how we relate, right?
Yeah, I haven't like done like much like real acting work in a long time, but I feel like my life experience is going to lend itself to that in a way that's going to open up a whole new, like, it's going to open up my heart to the work in a way that is going to be new and fresh and more real than when I was like, you can live in the world of the character, you can do all your work, but there is nothing more powerful than seeing an actor be able to and use their real life experience, and real heartache and real stuff. That someone that has been through more life is just gonna be a better actor. And someone who has gone through, good times and bad times and just lived and been in their life and been a person just being you. And then if you're willing to use that, like, that's going to be powerful. That's something I'm excited about. Just like, having moved again and, it's just, yeah, man, life's nuts. And I know that everyone is going through a lot. So it's, just know that it's not all for naught out there, you guys. Like, it's it's all leading to something. This is all, I don't know if you believe in destiny or you believe in randomness, but either way, this is exactly where you're supposed to be at this point in time. There's no other place you were going to be. There's no other place that you are. So you just are right here, right now. And the only thing you can do is connect in this moment, pay attention to your breath, pay attention to what you're seeing and you're hearing and you're feeling and experiencing, and be there for it.
Yeah, dude.
And that's for me, like, going through all this has really brought me back to just true mindfulness, like being mindful, being present, being in the moment,
caring for yourself.
Caring for yourself. Exactly. That's what that is at the end of the day. Like being mindful is like truly just like caring for yourself, and it's using the time that you have. Because the future it's like, not only is it not something that you should focus on all the time, like, and of course you should make plans for the future and you should set goals, right? And you should make a plan, set a goal, and do those things. But don't live there. Live here. Like, because the future just straight up doesn't even exist. Like, it's not even a thing at all. Like, it's not even there. So the only thing that's here at all is this exact moment. So, going through all this, it doesn't sound related, but like trying to buy a house has made me more mindful, having to move across the country has made me more mindful. All those things just don't seem connected. They're just life things, but like having those things in your life, you have to be there for them. And I don't really know where else I'm going with it, but just,
man,
gotta be present.
We're going to the present moment. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're going right here, right now.
Yeah, it's
right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
Right. That's good. You're welcome, everybody, for that one. Yeah. So all that stuff is a part of everything, but then it's also like, okay, how do you cope, right? Get into the meat and bones of it, right? But and there's just so much shit that's going on, man. Like I know that's come to our attention recently, like with our alma mater as well, right? How do you go through? So like for people that don't know, and for people that don't know about our college at all, so like Cornish College of the Arts, that's where we went to. Nick and I both went to, and a lot of our guests that we've had on have been to that same college as well. And they've recently had an issue not an issue, they've announced a whole new change within the structure of the college where they are eliminating both the performance production and the interior design, interior architecture majors of the college. And it's quite a shock. I mean, I get that, COVID is crazy. Of course, I'm sure that they've lost a lot of money. And there's all these things that I'm sure the higher ups up there have some kind of thought up reason about why it's got to do it. They claim like data stuff, but just still hearing something like, for us as theater majors, like performance production getting cut is like quite a blow. I don't really know how you operate.
I don't know either. And again, like, I'm not a higher up at the school. Like, I don't know what's going on up there, and I'm not going to judge those people at all. However,
they had to make a decision.
Yeah, they had to make some sort of decision, I guess. Personally, I think that that's a huge blow to Cornish. Like, I think that some of the, in my experience, the performance production folks are, some of the hardest working students at that school, and they are
some of the least thanked too.
Some of the least thanked, hardest working people. Not only that, but like, they're incredibly talented, and they build our sets and they make us be able to do our craft and our work. Without that, I don't know what it will look like, and then even just from a financial perspective, I also have questions, like, and I don't know the answer to these questions, but, these are students who paid to be there and paid to build the sets for these shows. And without them, like if they're planning on having these big shows still for these students who are paying to be actors, so instead of having students who are paying to build your sets do that, are you going to hire IATSE people and pay union wages for professionals to build your sets? So now you have what used to be at least some sort of income, I'm guessing, with the performance production people building your sets. You're having an expense to do that. And I just don't know how that will shake out. And,
me neither.
And, and that's me going from some sort of selfish perspective, like thinking just from a theater student, like, what about my sets? Right.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to build that shit.
Yeah, no. And
I'm terrible at building shit. I'm not, Spencer Funk, maybe if you had a bunch of Spencer Funks that can build sets and act, great. You know what I mean? But I'm not one of those people.
Most of us aren't those folks, and nor are they there to do that. So I'm guessing they're going to have some people do it, right?
Right.
And then I also just think into the future, and again, I'm no expert on education, but like some colleges like Harvard and other more well-known colleges have a lot of their budget comes from, they get donations from people that used to go there. So they have and one of the ways that you do that is you need to have students who end up being well off. And I gotta say, one of the places where that really does happen is performance production at least on a very consistent basis. Those people are getting jobs out of school. They have work and they are needed in every city that has theater.
Totally.
And so if they did a good job in school and they have a good recommendation, whatever, I don't know, and I'm not in performance production. I don't know what being a good student is for them, but whatever that is, if they were a good student and they are going to work. And I know many of them that are working at incredible big opera houses and on world tours of artists and
Broadway even. Yeah.
Broadway.
Well,
for sure.
now,
Broadway. Yeah, right. But were, and will be. And so those people, when they are, so now all those folks that maybe would be donating to your school later who are going to be, probably more well off in general than some of the other majors. What are they going to give for?
Yeah.
There's no performance production to give to. So I don't know. I don't know where the upside is, to be honest. I've been trying to think about why that would happen. And I don't, I wasn't there, but I can think of a lot of reasons why it shouldn't have happened and none that it should have happened. So
it seems also that there's this, this has been something that has been an issue for us when we were in there too, is that there just seems to be also a disconnect between, being such a small school, it seems like there's such a large disconnect between the actual student body and the administrative body, right?
100%.
And one of the things that I've seen around is some of the biggest complaints is that it was just kind of dropped on them in the middle of class, it's just send out mass email, not really kind of anything like that. And it's listen, I can totally understand, we're in a global pandemic, everything's shutting down, everyone's losing money, it's a huge crisis, all that makes sense. And it's okay, we've done the numbers, we've calculated things down, we can't afford to do this because of X, Y, and Z. So we need to be having a game plan on how to survive, right? I get that.
Right.
But also, let your fucking students know in a better way than just sending out an email saying hey, just letting you know, this major that you're a part of isn't going to survive after you leave. And you're like, what?
Have a meeting.
What?
Let the students talk to you.
Know. That's the big communication.
Let them know and have a conversation, and also let them know how you're going to set them up for continued success. If you're going to cancel something, you better be able to go, okay, and we talked to UW and they are willing to accept Cornish students, and we talked to this, this school and this school, and these are all your options. We have them laid out. This is what it looks like. Just getting an email and some sort of alert on your phone in the middle of class. That's really a piss poor way of doing things.
For sure. So for people out there that care about this story and that are a part of our listenership, we hope to get some people on within this season that we can be able to, maybe get somebody on that can talk further about this, because it is, I think I can understand it's quite a powerful issue. And I also, it's weird. I also care about this college. I also care about where I came from. And, it's funny, when I first graduated, I was just like, yeah, fuck Cornish. But then as I grew older and the years passed on, I realized like how much was in there that really was of value, especially within the theater department, and what I was gaining as far as actual knowledge and experience and artistic training from these people there. And that also is in part due to the structure of the administration, right? And so you have to, I want Cornish to succeed. I want my alma mater to succeed. And so I hope that whatever happens, they can take this blow and they can understand maybe that where they should have done better, and that we can start rising up, because I do believe in a lot of the people that were there. Some of the educators and administrators, we've had some of them on, were absolutely life-changing for me and for others. So I want that to continue.
And I share that feeling. I love Cornish, and I love, in a way, I love the person that it made me to be. I love the artist that it helped shape me to be. Yeah. I love all the mentorship that I received from numerous, literally like almost all of the teachers I had were fantastic, and I learned so much. So for me, I had, I couldn't even imagine a better college experience than what Cornish gave me. Of course there were some things, and most of them came from that, I think, sort of disconnect that weren't the best, right? But some of that comes with the territory of going to a small private art school in a downtown city. But yeah, I also want to know. I want to know how these kids are doing. I want to know what's next. And, I just hope the best comes. Whatever comes of this, I hope it's good. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. More to come on it. We're going to try to find some folks who have maybe some sort of inside scoop, or at least have gone through it more. We just heard about it, and it definitely rubbed us, and made us like, we definitely maybe rubbed us the wrong way, maybe the right way, but it definitely has affected us. So we want to be able to kind of explore that and see how people are doing. So
totally. That actually, you touched on something there that I wasn't planning on talking about, but I kind of now want to talk about, which is the mentors at Cornish. And as I've grown older, when I was back in Cornish, it was so weird for me. And I don't know if anyone else has felt this way, but I was so attached to the idea of having like a mentor, and not only just a mentor, but like a mentor for life. I was like, they're going to be my mentor forever. They're going to be rooting for me till the end of when I die or something like that, which is outrageous. Because it's like, I'm looking back now, I'm in years out and detached from it. I was just kind of like, they have their own lives. They have families that they actually care for. Of course they care about us, and there's like there is a bond. There is something of a familial bond that you gained from it. But I just remember like being devastated, like years out of Cornish when I'm still in Seattle. I would just be devastated when a mentor didn't message me back, and I was like, oh, I thought, what happened? Was it all a lie? And I'm like, no, it's not a lie. I just have 20 more kids in this. Actually, no, probably not 20, probably like 70 more kids that I got to take care of in this moment. And you're gone, bitch. Like, you can take care of yourself now.
Yeah. And it's funny that you had that experience. I've had that experience. I messaged one of my teachers like, oh, like this thing you taught me, like I didn't really pay attention in class, when you were talking about it, but I heard it. And now I learned it for real, and you were right, and thank you so much for telling me about all this stuff. And, silence back. And at first it hurt. And then I was like, yeah, but they're like telling all these other kids the same advice. And that's more important. Like that they're getting that than what my experience at the moment, I already had that with them. So, and exactly. I know Breeze had it too. Same kind of stuff. So,
right.
Yeah.
And, I think it's, I don't know, like as far as like mentors, and some people do have, mentors that have been with them all their lives. And I think that is beautiful. That's sounded like kind of what I wanted when I was, growing up in high school or whatever. And, but then like, now I'm at this point now, especially because I'm a pretty transient person too. You know, it's like, how are you supposed to have just one mentor as you're like traveling around? You're meeting so many different people. You're working in so many different fields of things, and it's good to have relationships. But you know, and like, you're not to say that like, of course, like if we went back to Cornish and we met up with some of these professors, you know, years later, we can catch up and have a beer and have a great old time and reminisce about old memories. That's all fine and good. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying, but like to put up a mentor on a pedestal and to say like, you're now this for me. And they don't know that, you know,
Right.
You're now this for me. And you got to hold up to my standard of keeping me afloat when I'm going through mental crises, you know, and it's like, what, bro? Sorry, I got my own shit that I got to do, and I'm focused on all these other people. You know what I mean? And I also have my own kids. Like, fuck off. You know, it's
right
in a loving way. They're all love. You know, but it's that's something that I just didn't realize we were going to touch on. But that was something that has been a revelation for me. And now I'm at this point where it's like, I don't know if I need, you know, like mentorship per se, because I mean, I feel like I have those, but it's like where I'm at right now is I'm fully in an exploratory mode on myself. I need to figure out what my method is. I need to figure out not just on acting, just on life. Like, what is my way of living? And then going into acting is, what is it that I do? What's my process? What's my scholarship and ways of going about things? And it's time to move on and like cut the cord, you know, with those old mentors in that way of having that kind of looking up to them in that idealistic sense, you know.
100%. And I honestly don't, you know, it's probably even better that those mentors or folks that we had kind of like put that on them didn't even like, it's probably better that they didn't respond. Like, it's probably better that we had to learn, like, okay, like, yeah, like, I really maybe shouldn't be needing this right now. Like, it's like when you lose your pacifier a little bit, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like, okay, like, I don't have training wheels. I don't have, you know, it's like, okay. It's
like, I don't want to be breastfeeding when I'm 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's exactly. I don't want to be that, you know, so reliant. It matters. Mama. It matters for you to, mama. Your beach fuzz is getting all on the teat.
Those adult teeth are sharp.
They are. Oh my god. Yeah. Imagine when I had braces on. It's just the thing, dude. It's the way of growing up, you know?
Yeah.
We got to grow up. We got to live our lives. We got to go and fail, and we got to go and fail and know what it's like to fail and fall on your ass and have no one there to help you up.
Yeah.
That's also a big thing. You know what I mean? There's a level of it where as soon as, of course, it's always good to have a community there. And you know me, I'm all about community. I'm all about building up, you know, communities of people, which is also another reason why I'm so excited to be here in Atlanta. You know, I see so many amazing people here that I just can't wait to like be a part of their lives as a part of mine. Yeah. But you got to learn how to fall on your face in the mud and you're getting up and there's no one else around. How the hell do you get up? You know, what's your way of pulling yourself back up? Because if you know, that's going to happen sooner or later and you're going to have to learn how to do it. And the longer you go without learning how to do it, the worse off you're going to be when it happens. Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to fall
Listen
on your
to me,
ass.
everybody. I'm 25 years old. I know everything.
This has been a preview of Warren's self-help book entitled Quarter Life Jesus Christ.
Boom. That's it.
Quarter life profit.
You just got to learn not to put other people on a pedestal. You just got to learn to put yourself on a pedestal. You know what I mean?
That is the message that everyone should take away from this. Be your
You just
own
got to
prophet.
put yourself up to a godlike status,
Yeah.
you know, and then other people's opinions just don't matter as much to you anymore, you know?
You just need to be a god. You have
know?
to be a god.
Just look at Kanye West. He's doing pretty okay.
Oh my God.
Did you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with Kanye West?
No, I don't think I have. I should, though.
man.
I love me some Joe Rogan.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. It was a wild podcast. I mean, it was good as well, but he's a crazy dude. He thinks very differently and stuff, like just on a whole mind spectrum. I think there's some aspects where he's trying to do some good in the world, but
Yeah.
he's also just a crazy motherfucker.
He is very unique. And I think, like, I'm a big proponent of, like, you don't need the crazy to be a genius, right?
Right.
However, like,
Crazy
Kanye
does
is someone
help
who,
sometimes
like,
for some geniuses. Yeah.
maybe, and maybe he would be even more of a genius if he didn't have the obstacle of being bipolar and the obstacle of his mental illness. Like, probably that would be better for him, but that's not the world we live in. And like, the music he makes and even some of the products that he makes, like, are genius, like, and they are unique and they are influential and they have changed culture in a huge measurable way. Like,
Right.
and to be able to achieve that much, even with a mental illness like that is huge. It probably takes even a higher level of that special thing. So he's a very interesting case because, like, it's like sometimes I'm sure for him, he's like on a totally amazing wavelength where everything is vibing, like when he's making a record. And then sometimes he's probably only 10% genius and 90% of it is a little out there. Right. Yeah. I just hope he's okay. Like, I think he seems to be really having a tough time. Like, I don't know, like I like listening to Kanye West music. I have nothing but love for the guy. I just really hope that he's able to, beat this mental illness that he's definitely, like, struggling with. Right. Like, yeah.
It's one of those things too, where it's like talking about genius, and especially in this kind of age of everyone's trying to be their own selves, be individuals, be mindful. And there's a lot of different things going on in this age, like the 2021 information age of, constant showing up on, Instagram or TikTok or all these different mediums. And I can't help but think that there's some psychosis that's just kind of growing in there. You know what I mean? There's something growing in there because it's just so much of our own individualism being shown out with no active audience, no live audience, right? It's all online people and bots, right? And there is genius out there because, medium of TikTok and Instagram reels or whatever. I've seen some stuff on there that's made me laugh crazy hard, I've cried, like, dude, oh my gosh, so beautiful,
The meme game out there is so strong right now. So strong. I don't know, like, y'all, the
memery is
I have a time, like, I have a real good time. Looking at memes. I think they're so funny, and I think, like, there's something that is, like, so unique, like, and just like however many years ago we just had, like, the few, like, you remember, like, the Willy Wonka meme, like the original Doge meme, like, and there was like 4 or 5 memes. Now there are hundreds of memes, and I recognize so many of them, and it's like I don't even know how, like, and that's got to be, like, my mind is now, like, made of memes. And it's funny. It's like,
it's a new way we communicate now.
And I think it's an elevated way. Like, I really think it's an elevated way of communicating. And I think that societies who are around for a long enough time just end up communicating in pictures. Like, they end up communicating in emojis and in memes and in things like, like literally like the like if you look at like the letters in the Chinese language, like a lot of them are just really just pictures
Right.
of the thing they're describing, and
That is interesting. That is an
similar
interesting take.
to
Yeah.
like Egypt's hieroglyphs, right? You like, and when you read the writing on the wall, a lot of those stories are just told picture, 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 picture.
And you're like, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah, but like if you were around back then, you're probably laughing your ass off or having a cry, like like
That's a good point.
It's a good story, and it's a way that like they're able to communicate in a way that is so special and unique and culturally like exactly them, like
Wow.
and I think that memes and emojis are leading us to that. I think we are gonna get there. Like,
So
and
you're
we're just gonna
saying that
go further
Egyptian
into it.
hieroglyphic, fuck me. So we'll cut that out. So you're saying that
No.
Egyptian hieroglyphics, I still can't say it right, are ancient memes? That's it.
Hot take, but
Hot
yes.
take. Holy shit. That's kind of mind blowing. I'm kind of freaking out about that right now.
So I'm starting with my next New Belgium beer. This one is called Voodoo Ranger, and this one is made up exclusively of rat livers. It's gonna be really nice.
I just know, like, this kind of makes me not want to get as many followers now because now I just feel like we're gonna get sued.
New Belgium, if you were out there, we actually love your beer and would love to have you as a sponsor. But
So you should sponsor us. We will say whatever is in your beer is in your
Yeah.
beer. You just tell us what you think is in your beer.
yeah,
Besides the actual thing, and we'll say it.
yes.
So that's going to
Yeah.
be our shtick. So hey, reach out to us.
Right now it's rat livers, but with just a few dollars, it could be fairy dust.
Some good old rat liver. Come and get it.
Yeah.
Come and get your liver.
Welcome to your cave. The trolls in the cave. I don't know. What's the troll's name?
I don't know. The troll is back. Oh yeah, the troll with the original beer that you had.
Edward.
I don't
the
know what his
troll.
name.
I think it's Edward
Edward.
or Edwin. I like Edwin a little bit better. It's a little bit lighter,
Yeah, he seems like a good jolly guy.
Yeah. Oh, he loves his job.
Hey, he's working at the brewery. He's making beer.
Yeah.
Like it's literally coming from him. It's part of his love language.
Edwin, the beer troll.
Edwin the beer troll. New logo. Come on. Yeah, it's
All right, I want to talk more about your copywriting stuff a little bit. I want to know what that journey has been like for you a little bit. I want to know.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, when you're writing copy, what inspires you? Are you just kind of living within your head, looking at the ask, and kind of just like, do you like go into a meditative state? Do you research, like, do you Google image search things that have to do with it and get inspiration from that?
Yeah.
Are you, where are you finding your inspiration for writing your copy?
That's a great question. And, for those that don't know about copywriting specifically, so copywriting, and this is all things that, I'm growing to learn as well. I've been doing it for a bit of a time now. So I'm getting more of a handle on it. But, it's basically targeted marketing through words, right? So you're writing Facebook ads, you're writing email copy, like email chains or stuff like that. The old days, it was sending out bunch of letters, sending out mail, sending out junk mail.
Yeah.
And you have a catalog that has all these things. You have all these like ad coupons or whatever. All those words that are on all those documents, all those pieces of paper are copy. That's copy, right? So I'm really starting to gain an interest in it because it's design. It's again, words. Words are so powerful, right? And images are so powerful to what we're saying about memes and GIFs and all those things too. Like these symbols can make our brains just go, what? What now? Tell me more about that. It's crazy how you can just like put something out there and know that, it's like you put something out there to 100% of your client base, and it's this crazy headline, and you just know that this crazy headline based off of data, research, trial and error, that you're going to get like 30% of those people looking at that saying, like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want, and them getting it, you know? And that's all you need. And it's crazy to be thinking about that because, you know, with art and like when you're trying to tell a story, oh, you're looking so comfy. You're looking so comfy in that blanket right there. That's fantastic. When you're trying to tell a story, you're wanting to give a message at the end of it, right? There's something to be said at the end of the message. And this is something I'm still trying to work out with in my playwriting, right? Where it's like, what are these people actually trying to say? What are they trying to get from the other person? What are we trying to say to the audience? What are we trying to get our audience to come away with, right? And so marketing is, I mean, like copywriting is that just on a much more rapid pace. I'm writing like Facebook ads like crazy. And it's all these kind of like catchwords, these big words that, you know, might grab somebody and things that you got to think about like, okay, what is it that this person desperately wants to make their life easier?
What's like a good example of a catchword?
You know, so like something that I was writing today, you know, was basically like, can drinking this smoothie really do all, like really make you lose all this weight? You know what I mean? That kind of like general idea. It's like, wow, just 3 days and look at the results. You know, it's like those kind of results and, you know, those kind of big catchwords. I'm still at the point where it's hard for me to like generate them at the top of my head. Some of the people the CEO, he's been doing copywriting for a while, and it's so crazy how he can like come up with headlines right off the top of his head. You know, and it's just kind of like, you know, it reminds me of when we're thinking up scene ideas or writing up ideas for characters or things like that. Like when I'm in that mode, I can come up with characters and stories like, oh, boom, boom, here we are. Here's the place. Cause that's what we were trained to do. That's where my education comes from. And so I'm kind of moving that part of my brain and trying to share that over to this other part of my brain, which is trying to get people to do things in a different way. And yeah, I've been having a good time with it. You know, it's quite interesting to do it. And as far as to your question of like, what's my process? The main thing is that, I mean, it goes along with my creative process as an actor. Research, you know what I mean? It's, you know, you learn a structure, you learn the method, quote unquote, right, of how to do it. And, you know, trial and error, you figure that out more and more. You see what works, you see what doesn't. The more data that you get in, you're like, okay, so this kind of structure works better. Not like this kind of long form thing. Maybe it's just this product needs to be more punchy. Whereas this product over here, it actually benefits even more to go through kind of a longer style. Like, here's what's going on. Doesn't it suck that life is going like this? What if there's a way to make life easier? Well, there's all these obstacles in the way, but actually there's this new thing that is much better than all those other things.
It's like classic sales, right? Like set up the problem and then sell the solution.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly. You got to set up the problem for them. And so sometimes they are not aware that they have a problem. So you need to try to, you know, let them know that they got a problem that they didn't know about. Or sometimes they're very aware of the problem and they like, okay, this has got to change. And so you have to write copy that is like, hey, we know you got this problem. Here's our solution and here's why it's better than all the others. And it's definitely a challenge too. But along with that, it's cool because now we're just starting to put together scripts for videos that we're going to be making. So like I'm going to be working with a collaborator of mine, Dan, who works in the company, and we're going to be trying to write some scripts. So now it's crazy because those worlds are kind of merging together for me. And I'm like, kind of like, whoa, how do I do this? You know what I mean? It's going to be quite a task, but I'm excited to start, you know, doing those things, like writing commercials basically. And
that's great.
Yeah,
dude, I'm really excited for that. That's the part of it. Like that like, I mean, I think your natural gift is going to really like shine through on that, like in a way that's going to be so cool. I'm excited for you to merge those worlds. Like, so yeah, man, I'm going to pick your brain about when you start writing like the video commercials too. That's going to be so cool. So,
right. Yeah, it'd be cool, like, to be able to write, everybody knows now like Squatty Potty or other kind of like big commercial names like that. And because they have like funny videos, or like Dirt Dry or something, you have like these commercials. You make a good commercial that like makes someone laugh. They want to buy the product, right?
100%. Did you see the Alexa commercial on the Super Bowl?
Oh, I don't know if I did. What was...
It was this
with Michael B.
I
Jordan?
couldn't imagine a more beautiful vessel for Alexa to be inside of. And then she like looks outside and it's like a picture of Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And then she's just imagining him as Alexa for the commercial. Yeah. That's the best commercial
that was
of
a great
all
commercial
time that I've seen so far. I gotta say, I love that commercial. That's so funny. Like
they're reading Pride and Prejudice to her in the bathtub. Oh my God.
Yeah. And her husband's like, you can't stay in there forever.
Hey, we gotta use the bathroom too. I think one of my favorite commercials ever was like a commercial way back when I was like in high school. It was a Super Bowl commercial where like these two guys were talking about, like they were at an office. There's a vending machine in the back. So it's like vending machine, two guys, and they're like, hey, this crystal ball, I got this crystal ball that tells the future. And he's like, yeah, what does it say? And he asks it something and he's like, okay, yeah. Hey, crystal ball, am I going to eat some Doritos? And he's like, well, and he just throws it at the vending machine and breaks it. And he grabs Doritos back. He's like, yep. And I'm like, that's hilarious. It stuck with me in my brain even till now, right? Of course, I don't like Doritos still, but that's their fault, not mine. It's just a crazy thing. So yeah, being able to write that stuff, it would be cool, and I think that'll only help my actual
ranch
play
Doritos,
and screenwriting stuff even more. So that makes me excited to be writing more and exercising that. And that's kind of the thing too, where it's like we have all these different ways of living. We are working, we're doing a serving job, or we're doing, office work. We're doing things that don't seem to be aiding our artistic ventures, but in reality, they are. They do. You just have to find, you have to mine what your experiences you're gaining from it to aid in your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I've been doing customer service since I was 16, and like I gotta say, like there's no better or harder acting work than being customer service.
Yeah. Yep.
So I know everybody in customer service who's hearing this already knows it, but I'll talk about it a little bit. You got to really act like and sometimes believe in your heart that you care about, the customer and you care about their experience. And I do, right? I'm good at the customer. I like people. I like talking to them. I like their experience. But, when someone's coming at you sideways, you really have to turn on your actor brain and really act, and figure out a way to like make sure this person is going to like end up
different tactics.
Yes.
Right.
You got to try different tactics. And I got to say, like, sometimes I have to use different, like, I actually learned this tactic from my father, which was interesting. He told me about actually a police tactic that they use. It's like a psychology trick. So if someone has passed the point of no return with me, which is like, I have been like kind to them, I've been understanding, I have like given them solutions, and they just are still wanting to like be irate or continue to go down the path of whatever they're mad about,
of ass hattery, you might say.
Yeah. Being an asshole. Like if they're still being an asshole, it's time for me to turn on my tricks and, to get them to be, you have to kind of, sometimes it helps to just give them the same exact answer over and over. And I go as far as to give them the exact word for word, exact answer that I've already said to them. Because what happens in a conversation, how it generally goes, is like one person says one thing, the next person says another thing, and then that person, the person B, person whatever, the next guy should say something in reaction to that's different. And in an argument, bless you. And if you're getting, and again, I don't argue with people that are customers, but if they're arguing with me, right, I will just end up saying, yeah, you like, and after the second or third time of giving them the exact same answer, like, because if they're really looking for you to give them a different answer, that's why they have, that's why they're looking for you to change based on what they're saying. And no one likes hearing the same exact thing too many times. It's just it's a human pet peeve. There's no human alive who wants to hear the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again. Right. And so at a certain point, if I know for me, the answer isn't going to change, I'm not going to try to like go, well, this is the other reason that this answer is this way. And then they tell me, oh, well, that's not okay. Like it has to be different. And I go, well, it's not going to be different because of these other three things. Well, then now they have 4 or 5 different things to talk to me about again. And try to argue, well, that shouldn't be this way because the company is XYZ. And then this one, and then I'm like, oh, well, how about this? This is a reason that it should be this way. And then they have to talk about that. But if you just go, oh, well, it's not going to be that way because of this. And then they give you something out of left field. Well, it's not going to be that way because of this. Well, it's not going to be that way because of this. By your third time, they are not going to respond to you. They are going to give up. You will some people are stronger than others, but they will be in submission within the minute. It takes like 60 seconds and it's over. So it's like little tricks like that help you, but you have to be able to use the tactic brain of like, how do I get what I want out of this person who is presenting different obstacles to me? I've already exhausted like 4 tactics that are inductive and loving, right? Now it's time for me to try some of the opposite.
Yeah, I'm halting them. I'm controlling them. I'm taming them with just my one phrase, right?
Yeah, and you can do so as nice as possible, right? Well, it's just not going to be that way because of this.
Yeah,
what are they going to say? So yeah, I don't know. It definitely helps to like kind of have those like tactics memorized in my brain when I go into that kind of conversation. And I think that in scene work where you're thinking on if you're doing it right, you should be thinking on your feet and it should be feeling fresh. You're doing the same thing. You're adjusting to what the person is doing and saying and using a different tactic to do this. And, repetition is a tactic.
Right.
And staying the same is a tactic. Like, it's the same, like, an immovable object meets force that won't stop or whatever the phrase is.
Yeah, an unstoppable force, immovable object. Exactly. But it seems like the force is actually stoppable. So there you go.
It is actually stoppable. Yeah. Yeah. With simple repetition, you could stop anybody. So,
yeah, it's interesting shit. Also going back, wasn't that Super Bowl kind of boring?
Yeah, that was the worst, dude.
I was like, let's go. I mean, Tom Brady, go Tom Brady, but I was like,
it was really sad for me to watch. I feel like Patrick Mahomes like played his heart out and like his team just like fell apart around him. It was really, really tough for me to watch. And I actually kind of, before the game started, I don't even like Tom Brady, but I wanted Tom Brady to win because like I do think he's the greatest of all time at the quarterback position. And I think there's nothing better than showing it to the Patriots, like, and kind of like, and I'm an anti-Patriots fan. That is for I hate the Patriots. So I do. I'm a Steelers guy, right?
That's true.
So to have Tom Brady win on the Buccaneers, who like, I don't even know if they had a winning record last year. And then even in their beginning first, like 7 games or something of the season, they went like, I think they were just not doing well. And like, so they didn't really have a team and all they needed was Tom Brady. All they needed was Tom Brady. And it just really solidifies his greatest of all time status in a way that
take a team down from, I mean, like how many times has the Buccaneers been even in the playoffs? You know what I mean?
like never.
Like in the last 10 years. It's not that many, I imagine. And so it's like and I'm also not a football guy. So I'm talking out my ass a lot of the time here. But yeah, it's to have someone that's just like truly great at his craft and be able just bring it home. And like, what a great way to let it know. It's like, yeah, I'm already a part of this amazing team, yada, yada. The Patriots, we've gone to the Super Bowl multitude of times. It's pretty guaranteed at this point. And that we might even win a Super Bowl, especially because I'm Tom Brady. But then it's like to go down to a team and, bring a team together, unify a team rather, right? To, go and then win it again, win the Super Bowl. It's quite insane. But then it was like at such a level where I was like, man, dude, it was funny because like the first quarter I was like, okay, they're holding the line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there was some good defense that was happening.
They had that big goal line stop. The Chiefs really held the Bucks to not like the Bucks got down to like the 1 yard line.
The 1 yard line, and then they stopped him. I was like, that's amazing.
It was incredible.
How many times does that happen? And so I was excited. I thought this was going to be a good game, and then they ended up just getting swamped. And I was like, I gave up on it. And then the Super Bowl halftime show was also quite interesting too. I mean, what'd you think of the weekend?
I loved it.
Did you have a good time? I had a good time too.
I loved it. I had such a good time. You could tell he was having a good time. He invested like $7 million in that. So he, I think it paid off. Yeah. So that's something that is crazy. They don't actually pay the artists who do the Super Bowl performances.
They do it themselves.
They pay them in exposure, and then which is awful, by the way. They really should be paying the artists who do that. But the weekend went even further.
Just kind of saying that, it's like it is a Super Bowl. I mean, it's also the weekend. I mean, I imagine he's doing pretty okay.
He's doing okay for sure, but I'm always pro pay the artist. So
for sure,
but
for sure.
I got it. But he invested his own money on doing that show and building all those sets and getting everything set. And so to see it pay off, and then also like I just got to say respect because I could tell he was really singing. Like you could hear his actual voice in the mic,
totally.
And him going through all those things. Major respect, and I love The Weeknd already, so I think that I'm already a fan of his.
Yeah.
So to hear a lot of songs I knew,
his voice is unreal.
Oh, it is unreal.
I'm like, what's going on here? It's like it's not like the most like powerful voice or like anything like that.
Right.
It's just kind of like he has that pop voice that is, it's like. You could tell he grew up in the age of autotune and like all these things and been able to like make that a natural thing. He was able to make his voice naturally pop punky, like not pop punky, but like, just poppy in a way that is also kind of like dark and mysterious too, which is interesting. I think one of my favorite things though is like all the memes of when he's in like the golden thing and he's like has the camera with himself, and it's like when I'm trying to find my wife at Target walking around. Or like it's so funny like the other one that I saw that made me crack up was like the perspective of wine in the glass when you're drinking it when you're having a good time, and it's just kind of like him like it's like I was like, oh my Lord, that got me so good.
That's great.
It was interesting seeing like the mask take of like all those dancers doing the mask take like that. I
think that was nice in a way because his music is really dark. Like his lyrics are, his symbol is XO. His symbol as an artist is XO, and that stands for ecstasy and OxyContin. Like he's literally like he like his
not
songs
like hugs
are,
and kisses.
Right. Well, that's what they'll pretend it is for the Super Bowl. He had changed a lot of words in those songs. I don't know if you have noticed, but a lot of the words were not the same. Like so because his songs are really just about like getting really messed up and partying and like doing a lot of drugs and like so it was an interesting choice for the Super Bowl in that way for sure. Just because like. His songs are like about like, like calling, like one of his most famous songs is about like calling somebody like 5:30 a.m. after like being strung out on drugs and like it's the only time we call, but we always meet up. Like it's like that's kind of his vibe and like
to get him on the Super Bowl is pretty huge. I guess it kind of feels like it makes sense within this COVID era. It's like we're all trying to get by, right? We're all trying to get by. Fuck.
Oh man. But I don't know. I really appreciate it. I like the Super Bowl performances. I think the recent ones are great. Like the Shakira J-Lo performance, I thought was fantastic.
That was good.
I loved when Lady Gaga like jumped from the rooftop. Like that was incredible.
That was pretty cool.
I'm glad they've come away from doing performances from like old bands. Like I love The Who, right? Don't need to see them perform. They're like 80 years old, right?
Yeah, we don't need.
I'm sorry.
We don't need the Rolling Stones in the 2022 Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
No, I don't want the Rolling Stones
on to the Super Bowl.
And I'm the biggest Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. Probably, I don't know, maybe I'm top 5% at least super fan. But like, I don't even want to see them up there. Like, that just give me like. Keep with the times, Super Bowl. Like, get with it. Like, and I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad that they're going with that more like
totally
fresh and young
world. You gotta go with the people that are
a
lot like going right now, that are at their top of their game right now, for sure.
Exactly.
All right, so it looks like y'all that my phone died, and now you probably just see a photo of my face up there on the screen for those that are watching the video. So it looks like we're gonna have to cut the podcast, but honestly, Nick and I can go on forever about things. Yeah. So, and you're gonna be with us on this ride to talk with other people about more things. So we'll continue on with what we're doing. But honestly, it's awesome to be on this podcast again. And it feels so good to be talking with you, buddy, and to be...
You too, man.
The people that we have going on, y'all, get ready for this lineup that we got going up here for you. We're getting some cool people on this podcast. So stay in tune, and we shall see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We are very happy to be back. And Warren, it was a really nice time talking to you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this thing with me, dude. For real. Like,
yeah, it's a blast. It's a blast to do this thing. Yeah. All right. Much love, everybody. Talk to you later. See you next 2 weeks. Bye.
Yeah, see you soon.